Success doesn't come from relying on willpower alone. It comes from creating systems that help us succeed where we might usually stumble. Just a few days ago, I was texting one of my buddies. I needed to change our lunch plans for later that week. Nothing too exciting, right? All of a sudden, my phone rang, and it was my buddy calling me back. He had been driving home from work when I texted him about lunch. He picked up the phone and called me back saying, "Hey, I didn't want to just mentally reply to your text and forget about it later. I know I do that sometimes." I thought, that's interesting. You see, my buddy wasn't worried about simply responding to me. He was worried about forgetting to follow through. And here's the thing. He's not bad at remembering things in general. He's a pretty sharp guy. But he told me that sometimes, especially when things get busy, when life is full of distractions, he just can't trust his memory alone. So instead of putting it off and hoping he'd remember to text me back later, he called me right then and made the change. That simple act of picking up the phone, taking action immediately, that was his system. His way of making sure things didn't slip through the cracks. And here's the truth. We all have our weaknesses. We all have those things that in life we just struggle with. Maybe it's keeping track of your schedule or following through on commitments. Maybe you're a perfectionist or you struggle with not letting go of things that you should. And maybe you have a hard time saying no to others when they ask certain things of you, like a commitment or a favor. Whatever it is, we all have something that holds us back from being our best. But here's the thing. That doesn't have to define us. It doesn't have to keep us from reaching our full potential. What we can do, and what my buddy did, is create a system to help us overcome those struggles. In his case, he knew he had a tendency to forget things, especially the small commitments like lunch plans, so he just created a system, a quick phone call, right when he thought of it. Simple, it's effective, and it worked. By doing that, he made sure he was able to follow through on something important without relying on his memory. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't forget lunch plans, so how does this apply to me? Well, it applies because every one of us has something we struggle with. For some, it may be remembering important tasks. For others, it's procrastination. Or maybe you've struggled to keep a new habit, whether it's working out, eating healthy, or reading more books. Whatever it is, you can create a system to help you overcome those barriers. So let's talk about the power of systems for a second. Systems are simply tools that help us be more organized, more productive, more consistent. They don't have to be complicated. In fact, often the best systems are the simplest ones. You don't need to rely on willpower or hope that your memory will be better today. You can set up a system that takes care of the hard part for you. And here's where it gets really powerful. When you take that system and you apply it to multiple areas of your life, whether it's personal or professional, you start to see a change. Maybe it's waking up 10 minutes earlier each day to get a head start on your goals, or scheduling reminders for yourself to stay on track throughout the day, or even setting a specific time to do something, or a specific action to take, like my buddy did when he called me back immediately. The beauty of the systems is that they give us control. They help us avoid anxiety that comes from forgetting things, missing opportunities, or letting people down. They also help us build confidence in our ability to follow through and succeed, because we set ourselves up for success rather than relying on memory or sheer willpower. But here's the most important part of all. Creating systems isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about getting a little better each day. You see, my buddy didn't come up with the perfect solution on day one, but he tried something. He found a way that worked for him. And that's what I want you to take away from this. No matter where you're starting from, no matter what your strengths or weaknesses are, you can rise to the occasion. You can find ways to succeed in areas where you may not naturally excel. And even if it feels hard, even if it feels like you're not getting it perfect, keep experimenting. Keep tweaking your systems until you find what works for you. Don't settle for good enough. Strive to be better. Strive to be 1% better than you were yesterday. And here's my challenge to you. Take a step today. Identify one area where you're struggling, one area where you're relying on your memory or sheer willpower, and ask yourself, What system can I create to make this easier, more reliable, and more consistent? And then just do it. Start small, but take action. Because when you create systems to help you succeed, even in the areas where you struggle, you begin to unlock your full potential.